welcome to ID Creatures. Today we're going to be learning a little bit about shading. So basically what you need to know here is that you should have 3 scales of whatever technique or method you're using to sketch. If it's a pen, then you're going to do lines, or maybe just cross lines, or any way you want to shade. Or you can have color pencil like this one, and it's a lot easier to get the different shading tones that you need. So that's the idea. You need 3, 2, and 1, and number 1 would be for the lightest area, number 2 would be for the medium area, and 3 would be the darkest area. So here I drew an arrow here, and this would be the light that's coming to this cube. It's sort of from the top and the left, so that means this one is getting less light, so it means this is going to be the darkest area. And that's the way it works for all of them right here. I guess I drew 2 spheres right here, and the difference is, I don't know if you can tell, that right here you have a really dark area, and on this one you have a light area at the end. So that's what I drew here. That's 1, 2, 3, and then 1 again. So it's this one. And the reason for this is that sometimes you have this ball sitting on an area where obviously you would have a shadow here, but I'm just assuming we don't have it right now, but you would have the ground reflecting the white of this surface on the ball, so you have a white area, and the same goes on here, and the same goes on in this cylinder right here. Okay, so I'm gonna just make some quick small forms on another piece of paper, and the reason I'm going to make them small is because I don't want it to take a long time to shade and have you all bored there looking at this video. So they're going to be quite small, but the idea is the same. So we have the cube, and the cube, okay, I'm going to assume the light is coming from this side also, so I'm just going to do this area really dark, and this area sort of light. And I'm gonna bring more pieces of paper to put underneath my paper, because it's taking the texture of the paper that I have underneath, and that's not what I want right now. Sometimes it's a good thing, and I use it to my advantage sometimes. When you have something that's supposed to be fabric or something like that, and you want texture, so you just put something underneath your paper, and it does the work for you. You don't need to take the time of drawing little dots or something like that. Just go over a rough surface and it does stuff for you. Okay, so that was another little tip there, nothing to do with this, but just came up. So what I'm doing here is I'm just I'm shading this in sort of like, let's say, the neutral color for the cube, and then here I have the darker area. Okay, and then here at the top I have a really light area. Okay, so that is how you shade an object, and later on we're going to learn about cast shadows. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a very simple thing here, just have it sitting on something. Okay, and okay, so it goes that way and it goes that way. Okay, so technically the shadow should come on this direction, but for now I just did it that way. So let's do one with the shadow actually going that direction. Okay, so you have, let's say, the same cube, you have the dark area here, okay, and you have the middle or number 2 area here, and you have the light area. So the shadow would go this direction, sort of like that. Okay, but right now we're not really worrying about that. I just want to make sure you understand what the 1, 2, 3 rule is. Okay, so you have 3, 2, 1. Okay, 3, 2, 1. So let's do another shape here. Let's do a cylinder. We're gonna do 2 of them just because I want to show you the difference between the one that reflects a little bit of the surface it's sitting on and the one that doesn't. So this one is going to be not reflecting anything. So that means if you have the light coming from here, you're going to have a really dark area on this side. Okay, so you have dark to light, and this area is going to end really dark, and it's going to come and just transfer or convert, or I don't know the word for that, into a dark, a light color. Okay, so I'm sorry, my English was really bad there. Okay, cylinder from dark to light. Okay. Okay, let's see. There we go. So we have a cylinder that's going from a really dark color, so this would be 3, this would be 2, and this would be 1, okay? To, let's see, another example here where the dark area is almost at the end, but not totally at the end. Let's do the bottom here. And so we're gonna have 1, 2, 3, and 1, okay? So we're gonna have this not totally at the edge, but almost there, okay? So we're gonna have this right here, and we will have the top right there. Okay, so we have that done, and you can see that it didn't get all the way to the edge. Okay, so you see how I have like a slice of white right there? That means that whatever is behind it is a white color, so it's reflecting something, okay? So what about the sphere? Okay, we have a sphere, really ugly one, and we have, the light is coming from here, so you always shade on the direction of the object, so you shade in this direction. But sometimes that gets too complicated, so what I do is I just start filling in all different directions, and by the time I'm done and I've filled it in so much, it just basically blends together, and you can't really tell which direction I was coloring in. So I would say that this is not the correct way of doing it, but if nobody really notices anything, then you didn't really do anything wrong, because they will never know you didn't do it, in the correct direction. So my advice is practice enough so you really can deceive people, and just make everybody believe that you were shading in the right direction, or just do it in the right direction and you won't have any trouble, which is going in like this for a really, really long time. I just don't probably have the patience for it, but you're welcome to try and just keep doing circles and circles until you can fill the whole thing. So basically the same thing that we just did with this cylinder, we're doing with the sphere here. We're putting a really dark color at the end, but what happens if you have another one here, and then you have the little blank spot there, and your dark area stops before the ball ends, or the sphere ends, the perimeter of the circle here. So we're gonna leave a blank area there, and let's see, I'm just gonna try and do this quickly. So I'm doing the same thing I did before, just doodling and coloring in every single direction, and hoping that it won't really show and you won't be able to tell so much. Because anyway, I just want to make this quick. Okay, so we have something similar to here, to the top one, but the difference here is that I didn't go all the way to the bottom. And once you have a shadow here, you'll be able to see that better. Okay, because I'm gonna do this and do this. Okay, so you can see here how you can really see a contrast of color between the shadow and this white area right here, that white area. Okay, so that means that it's reflecting something of the surface it sits on. Okay, so again, you have 1, you have 2, you have 3, and then you have 1. Okay, so basically those are the shapes, and then we can also do a cone, and it's gonna work the same as the cylinder. Okay, we're gonna have lines that follow the shape of the cone, and we are going to, let's see, right here, and it's gonna get all the way. It's gonna go all the way to the end, because we're gonna assume this is not reflecting anything, and then we can make another one. Let's see right here, where right there, we can do another cone right here, where the lines just almost reach the end, but they never. I mean, not the lines, but the shading doesn't reach all the end to the surface. Okay, so you have 1, and then you have 3, and then you have 2, and then you have 1 again. Okay, so that's your shading tutorial, and what I recommend is that you work on this a lot because you're going to be using it forever. So once you understand how it works, start drawing a lot and just, you know, practice and practice until it becomes a lot faster. And once we get to markers, it's going to be a lot more fun probably for you. So start practicing and do your exercises.